Welcome to Deep Science Sleep. Let yourself sink a little deeper into wherever you are right now. Maybe you're already in bed, feeling the weight of the blanket across your body, the slight give of the pillow beneath your head. Or perhaps you're in your favorite chair, that comfortable spot where the world seems to slow down just a bit. Wherever you find yourself in this moment, you're exactly where you need to be. Because tonight we're going on a journey together, but it's the most restful kind of journey imaginable. We're going to explore something absolutely extraordinary that's happening inside you right now, at this very moment, and will continue throughout the entire night as you drift into sleep. Your body is a master healer. Right now, as you breathe slowly and steadily, as your heart beats its reliable rhythm, as your muscles begin to release the tension they've been holding all day, there are millions upon millions of tiny repairs happening. Cells are communicating with one another. Tissues are rebuilding. Systems are recalibrating. And the remarkable thing is that you don't have to do anything at all. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to manage it. You simply have to rest, and your body knows exactly what to do. Tonight, as you listen to these words and feel yourself becoming heavier, more relaxed, more peaceful, we're going to discover together just how profoundly your body takes care of you while you sleep. We'll wander through the quiet landscapes of cellular regeneration, through the symphonic workings of your immune system, across the gentle renewal of your skin, into the cleansing rivers that flow through your brain, and through so many other miraculous processes. And as we explore each one, you might find yourself feeling grateful, amazed, and most of all, deeply, deeply relaxed. Because there's something profoundly calming about understanding that your body is working for you, healing you, restoring you all through the night. So take another slow breath. Let your eyes grow heavy if they haven't already. And let's begin this journey into the healing that happens when you surrender to sleep. The miraculous architecture of healing, cellular foundations. Your body contains somewhere between 30 and 40 trillion cells. That's trillion with a T. Each one is a universe unto itself, a microscopic factory of astonishing complexity, and every single one of them is involved in the grand project of keeping you alive, healthy, and whole. Right now, as you settle into this peaceful state, these cells are talking to one another, coordinating, sharing information, working together with a precision that would make the most sophisticated computer network look clumsy by comparison. Think about that for a moment, but don't try too hard. Just let the image float through your mind. Trillions of tiny workers, all collaborating, all devoted to your well-being. This happening in your fingertips, in your toes, in your heart, in your brain, everywhere. And the beautiful thing is that they know what to do. They've been doing this since before you were born, and they'll keep doing it all through the night as you rest. Let's start with something fundamental, something that's happening constantly but picks up tremendous speed while you sleep. It's called cellular regeneration, and it's the process by which your cells repair damage, replace old components, and sometimes create entirely new cells to take the place of ones that have reached the end of their lifespan. Your body regenerates a full bone within 10 years. Your skin renews itself entirely every 2 weeks. Even right now, old skin cells are quietly being replaced by fresh, new ones, and you're not even aware of it happening. Inside each cell, there's a powerhouse called a mitochondrion, and you have hundreds or even thousands of these in every cell. These mitochondria are like tiny power plants, converting the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe into a molecule called ATP, which is essentially energy currency for your cells. Throughout the day, your mitochondria work hard, producing the energy you need to move, to think, to live. But during sleep, something shifts. The energy production doesn't stop, but it gets redirected. Instead of powering your conscious activities, that energy flows toward repair, toward rebuilding, toward maintenance. The cellular repair that happens during sleep is extraordinary. Think of proteins, those long chains of amino acids that form the very architecture of your cells. All day long, proteins get damaged. They get bent out of shape by heat, by stress, by the natural wear and tear of being alive. Some proteins even get misfolded, twisted into shapes they're not supposed to have. But your cells have quality control systems, elegant molecular machines that identify damaged proteins, unfold them, and either fix them or break them down into components that can be used to build fresh, properly folded proteins. This process accelerates during sleep. The rate at which your cells identify and repair damaged proteins increases significantly when you're resting, when the demands on your system are lower, when the body can focus its attention inward. And then there's DNA repair. Your DNA, that twisted ladder molecule that contains the instructions for building you, gets damaged constantly. Ultraviolet light from the sun can create lesions in the DNA. Metabolic processes create harmful molecules called free radicals that can nick and damage the DNA strands. Even the normal process of DNA replication, which happens every time a cell divides, can introduce errors. But your cells have repair crews, specialized enzymes that patrol the DNA constantly, looking for damage. They find broken sections and fix them. They identify mismatched base pairs and correct them. They work tirelessly, and they work better when you sleep. The communication between cells is perhaps one of the most beautiful aspects of healing. Cells don't exist in isolation. They're constantly sending and receiving signals, chemical messages that tell them what to do. When tissue is damaged, cells in the affected area release molecules called cytokines, which are like emergency flares. Other cells detect these signals and respond appropriately. Some cells rush to the site of injury. Others begin producing specific proteins needed for repair. Others still change their behavior to support the healing process. This entire symphony of cellular communication becomes more organized, more efficient during the quiet hours of sleep. Imagine your cells as a vast city, and during the day, everyone is busy with their jobs, rushing from place to place, focused on keeping everything running. But at night, when the city quiets down, that's when the maintenance crews come out. That's when the streets get repaired, when the buildings get renovated, when everything gets cleaned up and made ready for the next day. Your body works the same way. Sleep is when the maintenance happens. Your cells also undergo a process called autophagy, which literally means self-eating, though that sounds more sinister than it actually is. Autophagy is a recycling program. Cells take old, worn-out components, damaged organelles, proteins that are no longer useful, and they break them down into basic building blocks that can be reused. It's incredibly efficient. Nothing goes to waste. And this recycling process becomes more active during periods of rest, during sleep, when the cell can afford to spend energy on internal housekeeping rather than on the moment-to-moment demands of keeping you awake and functioning. The extracellular matrix deserves mention too. This is the scaffolding that surrounds your cells, a network of proteins and sugars that provides structural support and helps cells communicate with one another. Think of it as the framework that holds your tissues together. Throughout the day, this matrix can get damaged, but during sleep, cells called fibroblasts work to repair and maintain it. They produce collagen, the most abundant protein in your body, which gives structure and strength to your skin, your bones, your tendons, everything. They produce elastin, which allows tissues to stretch and snap back. They maintain this crucial infrastructure while you rest. There's something profoundly peaceful about understanding that this is all happening automatically. You don't have to consciously direct any of it. You don't have to tell your cells to repair their DNA or to recycle damaged components or to produce collagen. It all happens on its own, guided by billions of years of evolution, by systems that have been refined over countless generations. All you have to do is rest. All you have to do is sleep, and your body takes care of everything else. As you lie there now, feeling perhaps a bit heavier, a bit more relaxed, you might sense that this cellular activity is real. You might imagine, if you like, the gentle hum of all those trillions of cells doing their work, the quiet efficiency of repair happening everywhere in your body simultaneously. Your bones are being maintained. Your muscles are being rebuilt. Your organs are being refreshed. And it's all so automatic, so natural, so perfectly orchestrated that you can simply let go and trust the process. The immune system's nightly symphony. Your immune system is perhaps the most remarkably sophisticated defense network ever devised. It's an army, a surveillance system, a cleanup crew, and a memory bank all rolled into one. And while it never truly sleeps, it does change its behavior dramatically when you do. During the night, while you drift through stages of sleep, your immune system shifts into a different mode, one focused on restoration, preparation, and the creation of long-lasting defenses. Let's talk about white blood cells, those crucial defenders that patrol your body looking for threats. You have many different types of white blood cells, each with its own specialty. There are neutrophils that rush to sites of infection and devour bacteria. There are lymphocytes that include T cells and B cells, the sophisticated soldiers that can remember past infections and mount targeted responses. There are natural killer cells that seek out and destroy cells that have been infected by viruses or have become cancerous. All of these cells and many others work together to keep you safe. During sleep, something remarkable happens with these white blood cells. Studies have shown that certain types of T cells, those crucial immune cells that help coordinate responses to threats, actually decrease in your bloodstream when you sleep. At first, this might sound concerning. Fewer defenders in the blood? But it's actually a brilliant strategy. Those T cells haven't disappeared. They've relocated. They've moved to your lymph nodes, to your spleen, to your bone marrow, where they can interact with other immune cells, where they can consolidate information about threats they've encountered, where they can be primed and prepared for future battles. It's like soldiers returning to base for training and resupply rather than constantly patrolling the streets. Sleep also dramatically affects the production of cytokines, those chemical messengers that coordinate immune responses. Some cytokines promote inflammation, which is necessary for fighting infections and healing injuries. Others are anti-inflammatory, helping to resolve inflammation once it's no longer needed. During sleep, your body produces more of certain protective cytokines, particularly during the deep sleep stages. These cytokines help prime your immune system, making it more responsive and more effective. The relationship between sleep and immune memory is particularly fascinating. When your body encounters a pathogen, a bacteria or virus it hasn't seen before, your immune system doesn't just fight it off in the moment. It creates a memory of that encounter. Specialized immune cells remember the specific markers of that pathogen, so if you ever encounter it again, your body can mount a much faster, much more effective response. This is the principle behind vaccines, and it's also why you typically only get certain diseases once. But here's the thing. The consolidation of this immune memory happens largely during sleep. Deep sleep phases are when your immune system reviews the day's encounters, files away the important information, and strengthens the memories of threats. Without adequate sleep, this memory formation is impaired. Your body might fight off an infection, but it won't remember it as well, leaving you more vulnerable in the future. The lymphatic system deserves special attention here. You might have heard of your lymphatic system, that network of vessels and nodes that carries a clear fluid called lymph throughout your body. The lymphatic system is intimately connected to your immune system. Lymph nodes are like military bases where immune cells gather, communicate, and organize responses. The lymphatic vessels carry immune cells to where they're needed and remove waste products from tissues. Throughout the night, your lymphatic system continues its work, draining fluid from tissues, filtering it through lymph nodes where immune cells can detect and respond to any threats, and returning clean fluid to your bloodstream. This process helps reduce swelling, removes toxins, and keeps your tissues healthy. Your bone marrow, that spongy tissue inside your bones, is constantly producing new blood cells, including the white blood cells that form the foundation of your immune defense. Recent research has revealed something remarkable. Sleep quality directly influences the environment where these immune cells are formed and developed. When you sleep well, consistently, your bone marrow creates a healthier environment for producing white blood cells. These cells are better equipped to fight infections, more balanced in their responses, less likely to cause harmful inflammation. When sleep is disrupted, the bone marrow environment becomes altered. It produces more immune cells, but these cells can be more inflammatory, less precisely calibrated. It's as if good sleep helps your immune system produce quality over quantity. The spleen, that fist-sized organ tucked beneath your ribcage on the left side, works quietly all night long. It filters your blood, removing old or damaged red blood cells. It stores white blood cells and platelets. It's like a warehouse and quality control center combined. And during sleep, when blood flow patterns change, when your body is at rest, the spleen can work more efficiently, maintaining its stores, preparing resources for the day ahead. There's also fascinating research about how sleep affects the stickiness of certain immune cells. T cells, those crucial defenders we mentioned earlier, need to attach to infected cells in order to destroy them. They do this using proteins on their surface called integrins, which work like molecular Velcro. Studies have found that sleep, and the specific hormonal environment that accompanies sleep, helps these integrins function properly. When you're sleep-deprived, the integrins don't work as well. The T cells can't stick to their targets as effectively. Your immune system becomes less capable of fighting threats, all because of inadequate rest. The relationship between sleep and inflammation is complex and beautiful. Inflammation is necessary, a crucial part of healing. When you cut your finger, inflammation brings immune cells to the wound, helps seal it off from infection, initiates repair. But inflammation needs to be controlled, turned on when needed and turned off when the job is done. Chronic inflammation that never resolves, contributes to all sorts of health problems, from heart disease to diabetes to depression. Sleep plays a crucial role in resolving inflammation. During quality sleep, your body produces factors that help calm inflammation, that tell immune cells to stand down once a threat has passed. This is one reason why poor sleep is associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers in the blood. Your immune system also has what we might call a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that coordinates when different immune processes happen. Some immune functions are more active during the day, when you're likely to encounter pathogens in the environment. Others are more active at night. This rhythm ensures that your immune system is always ready, but also that it uses its resources efficiently, ramping up certain functions when they're most needed and allowing other functions to rest and regenerate. As you rest there now, perhaps feeling even more relaxed than before, you can appreciate that your immune system is working for you. Those billions of immune cells, distributed throughout your body, are maintaining their vigilance. They're consolidating memories of past threats. They're preparing for future challenges. They're cleaning up damaged tissue. They're maintaining that delicate balance between too much inflammation and too little. And they're doing all of this better, more efficiently, more effectively because you're giving them what they need. Rest. Sleep is not time wasted. It's not a luxury. It's essential medicine for your immune system, the time when your defenses are restored and strengthened. Skin, your body's regenerating shield. Your skin is your largest organ, a living boundary between you and the world. If you spread it out, it would cover about 20 square feet, weighing somewhere around 8 pounds. It's constantly exposed to the environment, to sunlight and wind, to bacteria and chemicals, to friction and pressure. And yet it maintains itself remarkably well, healing from cuts and scrapes, fighting off infections, regulating temperature, even producing vitamin D from sunlight. This incredible organ has a secret, and that secret is closely tied to your sleep. Right now, even as you rest here, your skin is renewing itself. The outermost layer of your skin, called the epidermis, is made up of cells called keratinocytes. These cells form in the deepest part of the epidermis and gradually move upward, changing as they go. They fill with a tough protein called keratin. They flatten. Eventually they die, but even in death they're useful, forming a protective barrier of dead cells that shield the living cells below. These dead cells gradually slough off, about 30 to 40,000 of them every minute, replaced constantly by new cells pushing up from below. Your entire epidermis replaces itself approximately every 28 days. You're literally growing new skin all the time. But here's what makes sleep so important for this process. Cell division, the creation of new skin cells, happens primarily at night. Studies have shown that skin cell division peaks during the sleep period, particularly in the hours before midnight. During the day, your skin is in defense mode, dealing with UV radiation, environmental pollutants, oxidative stress from simply being exposed to oxygen. At night, when you're protected from the sun and environmental assaults are minimized, your skin switches to repair and renewal mode. The rate of cell division increases. The production of new cells accelerates. It's as if your skin saves its major construction projects for the nighttime, when it can work without constant interruption. Collagen production is another crucial aspect of skin health that's intimately connected to sleep. Collagen is the protein that gives your skin structure, firmness, elasticity. It's what keeps your skin from sagging, what helps it bounce back when you smile or frown. About 75% of your skin's dry weight is collagen. Throughout the day, collagen fibers can get damaged by UV radiation, by the formation of advanced glycation end products, sugars binding to proteins, by the action of enzymes called matrix metalloproteinases. But at night, during sleep, the production of new collagen increases. This increase in collagen production is driven largely by growth hormone, which is released primarily during the deep sleep stages. Growth hormone stimulates cells called fibroblasts, which are the construction workers of your skin. These fibroblasts produce collagen and elastin, maintaining the dermis, the deeper layer of skin that gives it strength and elasticity. When you get consistent, quality sleep, your skin produces more collagen, maintaining its structure, keeping it firm and resilient. When sleep is disrupted or inadequate, collagen production decreases. The skin becomes less able to repair daily damage. Over time, this contributes to visible signs of aging, fine lines, and wrinkles. Blood flow to your skin also changes dramatically during sleep. As you sink into deeper stages of rest, blood vessels in your skin dilate, allowing increased blood flow. This brings more nutrients and oxygen to skin cells, supporting their repair and regeneration activities. This is why people sometimes wake up with a healthy glow, their skin looking refreshed. The increased blood flow during sleep literally nourishes the skin from within. Skin barrier function is another aspect that's maintained during sleep. Your skin isn't just a physical barrier, it's also a chemical one. The outermost layer contains lipids, fatty molecules that create a waterproof seal, preventing excessive water loss from your body and preventing harmful substances from entering. This barrier can get damaged during the day by harsh cleansers, environmental exposures, even just the mechanical action of touching things. During sleep, skin cells work to repair and maintain this barrier, producing the lipids needed to keep it intact. Research has shown that poor sleep can weaken skin barrier function, leading to increased transepidermal water loss, meaning your skin loses moisture more easily. This can result in dry, flaky skin and increased sensitivity. The connection between sleep and wound healing is particularly dramatic in skin. When you have a wound, a cut or scrape, the healing process follows a well-orchestrated sequence. First, blood clots to stop bleeding. Then immune cells move in to clean up debris and fight infection. Next, new tissue begins to form, with fibroblasts producing collagen to fill in the gap. Finally, the wound contracts and new skin grows over it. Every one of these stages is influenced by sleep. Studies have shown that wounds heal faster in people who get adequate sleep compared to those who are sleep deprived. The inflammatory phase resolves more quickly. Collagen deposition is more efficient. Even the final remodeling of scar tissue is improved with good sleep. Your skin also has its own circadian rhythm, independent of your sleep-wake cycle but closely aligned with it. Genes in skin cells turn on and off in daily patterns, some more active during the day, others more active at night. Genes involved in UV protection and antioxidant production are more active during the day when they're needed. Genes involved in cell proliferation and repair are more active at night. This biological clock ensures that your skin is doing the right things at the right times. There's also the matter of cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol levels naturally fluctuate throughout the day, typically highest in the morning and lowest at night. When you don't get enough sleep, or when sleep is fragmented, cortisol levels can become dysregulated, staying elevated when they should be dropping. High cortisol is bad for skin. It breaks down collagen. It can trigger or worsen inflammatory skin conditions like acne, eczema, and psoriasis. It impairs skin barrier function. By getting quality sleep, you help regulate cortisol, keeping it in the healthy range that supports skin health rather than undermining it. The appearance of your skin is often one of the most visible indicators of sleep quality. Dark circles under the eyes are a classic sign of sleep deprivation. These occur partly because lack of sleep causes blood vessels under the thin skin around the eyes to dilate, showing through as a dark tint. Puffy eyes are another common sign, resulting from fluid retention that would normally be drained away more efficiently during proper sleep. The overall complexion can appear dull or sallow without adequate rest, because the increased blood flow and cell renewal that happen during sleep aren't occurring at their optimal levels. But beyond appearance, consider what sleep does for your skin's health. It helps maintain the integrity of this crucial barrier organ. It supports the constant renewal that keeps your skin functional. It provides the time and biological environment needed for repair of daily damage. Your skin is literally growing, changing, healing itself right now as you rest. New cells are forming in the depths of the epidermis. Collagen is being woven into the dermis. The barrier is being maintained and repaired. And all of this happens better when you give your body the gift of sleep. The brain's nighttime maintenance crew. Inside your skull, protected by bone and bathed in cerebrospinal fluid, sits perhaps the most complex structure in the known universe. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each connected to thousands of others through trillions of synapses. It coordinates everything about you, from the automatic rhythm of your heartbeat to your most abstract thoughts. And contrary to old beliefs that the brain simply shuts down during sleep, we now know that sleep is when some of the brain's most important maintenance and optimization work occurs. Let's start with something truly remarkable that was only discovered in the last couple of decades: the glymphatic system. You might have heard of the lymphatic system, that network of vessels throughout your body that drains fluid from tissues, removes waste products, and supports immune function. But the brain, protected by the blood-brain barrier, doesn't have traditional lymphatic vessels. For a long time, scientists wondered how the brain cleaned itself, how it removed the waste products that accumulate during its constant activity. The answer turned out to be the glymphatic system, and it's most active during sleep. Here's how it works, in a way that might help you feel even more relaxed as you understand what's happening right now in your brain. Your brain is surrounded by cerebrospinal fluid, a clear liquid that cushions it and provides nutrients. During sleep, particularly during deep sleep, something remarkable happens. The cells in your brain, called astrocytes, shrink slightly. This might sound concerning, but it's actually wonderful. When these cells shrink, the space between brain cells, called the interstitial space, expands by about 60%. Imagine a crowded room where everyone suddenly takes a small step apart. Suddenly there's space to move, to clean. With this expanded space, cerebrospinal fluid can flow more freely through the brain tissue. moving along the outside of blood vessels in the brain, sweeping through the interstitial space, collecting waste products that have accumulated during the day. These waste products include metabolic byproducts, damaged proteins, even potentially toxic proteins like amyloid beta and tau, which are associated with Alzheimer's disease when they accumulate to high levels. The cerebrospinal fluid carries all this waste out of the brain, draining it away through a recently discovered system of lymphatic vessels in the meninges, the membranes that surround the brain, eventually clearing it from the body. This glymphatic clearance is up to 10 times more active during sleep than during wakefulness. Think about that. The brain's primary cleaning mechanism works 10 times better when you're asleep. It's as if your brain waits for you to go to sleep before it can really do its deep cleaning, flushing out the accumulated debris of the day's neural activity. The neurotransmitter norepinephrine, which is associated with arousal and wakefulness, decreases during sleep. This decrease allows the blood vessels in the brain to relax and the glymphatic system to function more efficiently. The implications of this are profound. The proteins that the glymphatic system clears, like amyloid beta and tau, are the same proteins that form the plaques and tangles seen in Alzheimer's disease. Research has shown that people who consistently get poor sleep have higher levels of these proteins in their brains. While we don't fully understand the causal relationship yet, studies strongly suggest that poor sleep, which impairs glymphatic clearance, may contribute to the accumulation of these toxic proteins over time, potentially increasing the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Conversely, good sleep, which enhances glymphatic function, may help protect against neurodegenerative diseases. Your brain is literally washing itself clean while you sleep, removing potentially harmful substances, keeping itself healthy and sharp. The discovery that amyloid beta levels in the brain increase during waking hours and decrease during sleep has revolutionized our understanding of sleep's role in brain health. In one study, participants who were kept awake for just one night showed a significant increase in amyloid beta in certain brain regions. While a single night's sleep deprivation wouldn't cause Alzheimer's, this finding suggests that chronic sleep deprivation, over years and decades, could allow the gradual accumulation of these toxic proteins, setting the stage for neurodegeneration later in life. Beyond waste clearance, sleep is crucial for synaptic homeostasis, a concept that helps explain how the brain maintains its ability to learn and remember throughout life. Throughout the day, as you learn, experience, and interact with the world, synapses, the connections between neurons, strengthen. This strengthening is how memories form and how you learn new skills. Synapses strengthen through a process called long-term potentiation, where repeated activation of a synapse makes it more sensitive, more likely to transmit signals in the future. But if synapses only got stronger and never weaker, your brain would eventually become saturated. The connections would all be at maximum strength, and there would be no way to distinguish important information from trivial information. You'd lose the ability to learn new things efficiently because there would be no room for new learning to make a meaningful impact. Sleep provides a solution through a process of synaptic downscaling or synaptic renormalization. During sleep, particularly during deep, slow-wave sleep, there's a global downscaling of synaptic strength. The brain reviews all the synaptic connections that were strengthened during the day and selectively weakens many of them, particularly the ones associated with less important or redundant information. Important connections, the ones that were strengthened repeatedly or that carry emotionally significant information, are maintained or even strengthened further. But the overall synaptic weight is reduced, bringing the average strength of synapses back down to a baseline level. This makes room for new learning the next day. This is not forgetting in the negative sense. It's optimization. It's the brain deciding what information is worth keeping in a strengthened state and what can be allowed to fade. It's like a librarian going through the day's new acquisitions and deciding what belongs in the permanent collection, what should be cataloged and readily available, and what can be relegated to storage or discarded entirely. This process makes your brain more efficient, ensures that you remember what's truly important, and prevents your neural networks from becoming overwhelmed with unnecessary information. The evidence for this comes from multiple sources. Studies measuring the electrical activity of neurons during waking and sleeping have shown that neurons fire more vigorously when awake and less vigorously during sleep. The size and strength of synapses, measured by looking at brain tissue under microscopes, increases during waking and decreases during sleep. Molecular markers of synaptic strength follow the same pattern. The picture is consistent. Waking strengthens synapses, and sleep brings them back down. Memory consolidation is another critical function of sleep, and it works in beautiful coordination with synaptic homeostasis. When you learn something new or have a new experience, the initial memory is fragile, stored temporarily in a brain structure called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is like a temporary holding area for new memories, processing them and preparing them for long-term storage. But the hippocampus has limited capacity. It can't hold everything forever. During sleep, particularly during certain stages of sleep, these temporary memories are replayed. This replay is remarkable. Using recording electrodes, scientists have observed that patterns of neural activity that occurred during the day's experiences repeat during sleep, but in a highly accelerated and often reorganized form. If a rat runs through a maze during the day, activating certain neurons in its hippocampus in a specific sequence, during sleep those same neurons will reactivate in the same sequence, but much faster. A sequence that took seconds to occur during waking might replay in just fractions of a second during sleep. This replay is thought to be the mechanism by which memories are transferred from the hippocampus to other parts of the brain, particularly the cortex, where they can be stored more permanently. The cortex has much larger storage capacity than the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as RAM, temporary memory in a computer, and the cortex as the hard drive, long-term storage. During sleep, information is being transferred from RAM to the hard drive. But it's not just a simple copy. The replay and reprocessing during sleep can extract general principles from specific experiences, creating abstract knowledge from concrete events. You might have several experiences with different dogs during the day, and during sleep, your brain processes these experiences and strengthens the general concept of dog, while potentially allowing the specific details of each individual encounter to fade. Different types of memories are consolidated during different sleep stages, and this is one reason why a full night of sleep with multiple cycles through all the stages is important for memory. Declarative memories, memories of facts and events, things you can consciously recall and describe, are consolidated particularly during slow-wave sleep, the deepest stage of non-REM sleep. The slow oscillations of electrical activity during slow-wave sleep seem to coordinate the transfer of information from hippocampus to cortex. Procedural memories, memories of skills and how to do things that might be hard to describe verbally but that you can demonstrate, are consolidated during both REM sleep and stage 2 of non-REM sleep. If you learn a new physical skill during the day, like playing a musical instrument, performing a dance, or mastering a sports technique, sleep is when that learning is solidified and refined. Studies have shown that people who sleep after learning a new motor skill often show better performance the next day than people who stay awake for an equivalent amount of time. The brain is literally practicing while you sleep, replaying the motor patterns, strengthening the neural connections that control skilled movement. Emotional memories receive special processing during sleep, particularly during REM sleep. REM sleep is the stage when most vivid dreaming occurs, and it's characterized by high levels of activity in emotional centers of the brain like the amygdala. During REM sleep, emotional experiences from the day are reprocessed. There's a theory that REM sleep helps to extract the emotional salience from experiences, strengthening the memory of what was emotionally important while dampening the intensity of the emotional response itself. This might be why traumatic experiences often feel less raw after a night's sleep, though the memory remains. In conditions like post-traumatic stress disorder, this emotional processing during REM sleep may be disrupted, potentially contributing to the persistence of intense emotional reactions to traumatic memories. The role of dreams in all of this is still debated. Dreams, particularly the vivid, story-like dreams that occur during REM sleep, seem to involve the brain activating memories and associations in unusual combinations. One theory is that dreams are a side effect of memory consolidation processes, the conscious experience of the brain's offline processing. Another theory is that dreams serve a function in their own right, perhaps helping to explore unusual combinations of ideas, to problem solve in creative ways, or to process emotional experiences. The fact that we often forget dreams doesn't mean they're not important, just as we don't remember most of the processing our computers do in the background, but that processing is essential for the computer to function. Neurotransmitter levels rebalance during sleep, and this rebalancing is crucial for brain function and mental health. Throughout the day, neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine are released and depleted in various parts of your brain, influencing your mood, motivation, and cognitive function. These chemical messengers allow neurons to communicate with one another, and the balance between different neurotransmitters affects everything from how alert you feel to how happy or anxious you are. Serotonin is involved in mood regulation, appetite, and sleep-wake cycles. Dopamine is involved in reward, motivation, and motor control. Norepinephrine is involved in attention, arousal, and stress response. During the day, as these neurotransmitters are used, the enzymes and transporters that break them down and clear them from synapses work constantly. During sleep, particularly during certain stages, the production and distribution of these neurotransmitters can rebalance. Serotonin levels, which are highest during waking, decrease during non-REM sleep and are lowest during REM sleep. This pattern is important for regulating the sleep cycle itself. Dopamine levels also follow patterns across the sleep-wake cycle, and adequate sleep is necessary for maintaining healthy dopamine function. Sleep deprivation has been shown to reduce dopamine receptor availability in the brain, which could contribute to the reduced motivation and pleasure that people often feel when sleep-deprived. Norepinephrine levels drop during most of sleep but can surge during REM sleep, which is part of what makes REM sleep a unique state, almost like being awake in some ways but with the body paralyzed. The reduction in norepinephrine during non-REM sleep is what allows the glymphatic system to work efficiently and may also play a role in allowing the brain to enter states of deep rest. The rebalancing of these neurotransmitters during sleep is part of why sleep is so important for emotional regulation and mental health. Sleep deprivation has profound effects on mood, often increasing irritability, anxiety, and risk of depression. Chronic sleep problems are both a symptom and a contributing factor in many mental health conditions. Improving sleep often improves mental health, and addressing sleep problems is now recognized as an important component of treatment for depression, anxiety, and other psychiatric conditions. The blood-brain barrier, that selective filter that controls what can enter your brain from your bloodstream, also functions differently during sleep. While it maintains its protective function, keeping harmful substances out, it may become slightly more permeable to certain beneficial nutrients during sleep, allowing the brain to take in what it needs for repair and maintenance more efficiently. There's also the matter of brain temperature. Your brain's temperature drops slightly during sleep, particularly during non-REM sleep. This cooling may help protect delicate neural structures from heat damage and may support the biochemical processes involved in memory consolidation and cellular repair. It's a subtle change, but in the precise environment of the brain, even small changes can have significant effects. The cerebellum, the area of the brain involved in motor control and coordination, shows interesting activity patterns during sleep. Even though you're not moving, at least not much, the cerebellum remains active during certain sleep stages, processing and consolidating the motor memories formed during the day. This is why athletes often find that skills they practiced during the day feel more natural and automatic after a good night's sleep. Your brain's default mode network, a set of brain regions that become active when you're not focused on the external world, shows fascinating patterns during sleep. This network is involved in self-referential thinking, daydreaming, and perhaps in integrating information and experiences into your sense of self. During certain sleep stages, particularly REM sleep, this network can be highly active, potentially helping to integrate the day's experiences into your broader autobiographical narrative. All of this happens while you simply rest. While you lie there, breathing slowly, your conscious mind quiet or drifting through dreams, your brain is working on itself. It's cleaning, organizing, consolidating, rebalancing. It's taking the scattered experiences and information of the day and weaving them into the fabric of who you are. It's clearing away waste that could, over time, cause problems. It's preparing itself for tomorrow's challenges, making sure it's ready to learn, to think, to remember. Bones, muscles, and connective tissue renewal. The structures that hold you upright, that allow you to move through the world, that protect your organs and produce your blood cells, these are constantly being renewed. Your bones might seem solid and unchanging, permanent structures laid down in childhood and youth, but they're actually dynamic, living tissue engaged in a constant process of renewal called remodeling. And while this process continues around the clock, it's influenced significantly by the hormones and conditions associated with sleep. Let's start with bones. Your skeleton is not static. At any given moment, in multiple sites throughout your bones, old bone tissue is being broken down and new bone tissue is being formed. This happens through the coordinated action of two types of cells, osteoclasts and osteoblasts. Osteoclasts are the demolition crew. They break down old or damaged bone tissue, releasing the calcium and other minerals into your bloodstream, creating small pits in the bone surface. This process is called resorption. Following close behind the osteoclasts come the osteoblasts, the construction crew. These cells build new bone, secreting collagen and other proteins that form the bone matrix, which then mineralizes, hardening into new, healthy bone tissue. The balance between breakdown and building, between osteoclasts and osteoblasts, determines your overall bone health. In youth, the balance favors building, which is why bones grow and strengthen. In adulthood, ideally, the balance is neutral, with equal amounts of bone being broken down and rebuilt, maintaining bone mass. In older age, particularly after menopause in women, the balance can shift toward more breakdown than building, leading to osteoporosis. But throughout life, this remodeling process serves important functions. It repairs microdamage in bones from the stresses of daily life. It helps regulate calcium levels in the blood. It allows bones to adapt to the mechanical loads placed on them. Sleep influences bone remodeling through multiple pathways. Growth hormone, which peaks during deep sleep, stimulates osteoblasts, promoting bone formation. Studies have shown that people who don't get enough sleep, particularly deep sleep, may have altered bone metabolism, with evidence of increased bone breakdown markers in their blood. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation could contribute to reduced bone density. Conversely, consistent, quality sleep supports the maintenance of healthy bones. The timing of bone remodeling also follows a circadian rhythm. Certain markers of bone breakdown are higher at night, while markers of bone formation can be higher during the day, though this varies. What's clear is that the body has an internal schedule for these processes, and disrupting that schedule through irregular sleep patterns can affect bone health. Now let's move to muscles. Every time you move, fibers in your muscles contract and relax. Throughout the day, whether you're exercising vigorously or simply going about normal activities, you create microscopic damage in muscle fibers. This damage is normal and necessary. It's actually part of how muscles get stronger. When muscle fibers are damaged, the body initiates a repair process. Satellite cells, which are like stem cells for muscles, activate and begin to fuse with the damaged muscle fibers, contributing their nuclei and cellular machinery to the repair effort. The muscle fibers rebuild, often becoming slightly larger and stronger than they were before. This repair process requires energy, requires protein synthesis, requires coordination of multiple systems. And it happens primarily during rest, particularly during sleep. Growth hormone, secreted during deep sleep, is a key driver of muscle repair and growth. It stimulates protein synthesis, the creation of new proteins from amino acids, which is essential for rebuilding muscle tissue. It also promotes the breakdown of fat, providing energy that can be used for the repair process. Another hormone called testosterone, which is present in both men and women though at different levels, also influences muscle repair and is affected by sleep. Testosterone levels drop when sleep is inadequate. This can impair the muscle repair process, making it harder to build or even maintain muscle mass. For anyone who exercises regularly, sleep is just as important as the exercise itself. The workout creates the stimulus for adaptation, but the adaptation, the actual building of stronger muscles, happens during recovery, and sleep is the most important recovery period. Tendons and ligaments, those tough connective tissues that attach muscles to bones and bones to other bones, also undergo repair and remodeling. These tissues have a slower metabolism than muscles. They're less vascularized, meaning they have fewer blood vessels supplying them with nutrients. This makes them slower to heal when injured, but even in the absence of injury, they're constantly being maintained. Fibroblasts in these tissues produce collagen, maintaining the strength and structure of the connective tissue. This collagen production is supported by growth hormone and other factors that peak during sleep. Cartilage, the smooth tissue that covers the ends of bones and joints, allowing them to glide smoothly against each other, has an even more limited blood supply than tendons and ligaments. Cells in cartilage, called chondrocyte, maintain the cartilage matrix, but they do so slowly. Sleep supports this maintenance, providing the time and the hormonal environment needed for these cells to function optimally. Poor sleep has been associated with chronic pain conditions affecting joints, possibly because the maintenance of cartilage and other joint structures is impaired. The facial system, that web of connective tissue that runs throughout your entire body, surrounding and connecting muscles, organs, bones, blood vessels, nerves, everything, is also subject to constant remodeling. Fascia can become stiff or develop adhesions, particularly in areas of chronic tension or following injury. But the body has mechanisms to maintain and repair fascia, and these work better during the relaxed state of sleep. The reduction in muscle tension during sleep, particularly during REM sleep when most skeletal muscles are essentially paralyzed except for brief twitches, may allow fascia to release and reorganize more easily. Consider too the enormous amount of protein synthesis that happens during sleep. Proteins are the building blocks of all these tissues, muscles, bones, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, fascia. Building proteins requires energy and raw materials, amino acids derived from the proteins in your diet. During sleep, when you're not digesting food or using energy for movement and conscious thought, resources can be directed toward protein synthesis. The rate of protein synthesis actually increases during certain stages of sleep, particularly during deep sleep when growth hormone levels are highest. There's also an interesting relationship between sleep and inflammation in muscles and connective tissues. When you exercise or use your muscles intensely, you create not just mechanical damage but also a mild inflammatory response. This inflammation is necessary for signaling the repair process. But inflammation needs to be controlled and resolved once its job is done. Sleep supports the resolution of inflammation through multiple mechanisms. Anti-inflammatory cytokines are produced. The overall stress response, mediated by cortisol, is regulated. Without adequate sleep, inflammation can become chronic, leading to persistent soreness, impaired recovery, and potentially contributing to chronic pain conditions. As you rest there now, perhaps feeling the weight of your body supported by whatever surface you're on, you might appreciate that even in this stillness, even in this restful state, your musculoskeletal system is working. Your bones are being maintained, old tissue removed and new tissue laid down. Your muscles are rebuilding from the day's activities, growing slightly stronger. Your tendons and ligaments are being reinforced. Your cartilage is being maintained. And all of this happens more efficiently because you're giving your body what it needs. Rest, stillness, sleep, the digestive system's self-renewal. Your digestive tract, from your mouth to your anus, is about 30 feet long. A continuous tube that processes the food you eat, extracting nutrients and water, eliminating waste. But this tube isn't just a passive pipe. It's lined with some of the fastest renewing tissue in your entire body, and it hosts an entire ecosystem of microorganisms that profoundly influence your health. And while your digestive system never completely stops working, it does change its activities during sleep, shifting toward maintenance and repair. Let's start with the lining of your digestive tract. The innermost layer, the epithelium, is constantly exposed to harsh conditions. In your stomach, it faces powerful acids and digestive enzymes. In your intestines, it deals with partially digested food, bile, more enzymes, and trillions of bacteria. This lining takes a beating, and it renews itself constantly. The cells of the stomach lining are replaced every 3 to 5 days. The cells lining your small intestine turn over even faster, every 3 to 5 days as well. The entire lining of your intestines renews itself approximately every week. This rapid turnover is necessary to maintain the integrity of the barrier between the contents of your digestive tract and the rest of your body. A healthy intestinal lining allows nutrients to be absorbed while keeping harmful substances, undigested food particles, and bacteria from crossing into your bloodstream. When this barrier becomes compromised, a condition sometimes called increased intestinal permeability or leaky gut, it can contribute to inflammation and various health problems. During sleep, the process of cell renewal in the digestive tract continues, but the overall environment changes. Food intake stops, assuming you're not eating in your sleep, which means the digestive tract isn't constantly dealing with new material to process. This allows for more focused repair and maintenance. Studies have shown that sleep deprivation can impair the integrity of the intestinal barrier, while adequate sleep supports it. The mechanisms aren't fully understood, but they likely involve the hormonal changes associated with sleep and the reduction in overall metabolic stress. The stomach has its own interesting relationship with sleep. During the day, when you're eating, your stomach produces acid and enzymes to break down food. At night, acid production typically decreases. This nighttime reduction is partly controlled by circadian rhythms, internal biological clocks that coordinate when different physiological processes happen. Some people experience disruptions in this rhythm, leading to nighttime acid production, which can cause problems like nighttime heartburn or contribute to the development of ulcers. Healthy sleep patterns support the normal circadian rhythm of stomach acid production. The liver deserves special mention. This remarkable organ, tucked under your right rib cage, performs hundreds of functions. It processes nutrients absorbed from your digestive tract. It detoxifies harmful substances, produces bile which helps digest fats. It stores glucose in the form of glycogen and releases it when needed to maintain blood sugar levels. Produces proteins needed for blood clotting. And remarkably, the liver has an extraordinary ability to regenerate. If part of a liver is removed or damaged, the remaining liver tissue can grow until the liver is back to its original size. This regenerative capacity is unique among human organs. Even in the absence of injury, the liver is constantly turning over cells, maintaining and renewing itself. Studies have shown that sleep affects liver function in multiple ways. The liver's circadian clock coordinates when different metabolic processes occur. Disruptions in sleep patterns can disrupt this clock, leading to impaired liver function and even contributing to the development of fatty liver disease. During sleep, particularly during the fasting state of nighttime sleep, the liver shifts from processing incoming nutrients to more housekeeping functions, breaking down and recycling cellular components, repairing damage. The gallbladder, which stores bile produced by the liver, also follows a circadian rhythm. It contracts and releases bile in response to eating, particularly in response to dietary fat. At night, when you're not eating, the gallbladder rests and refills with bile, preparing for the next day's digestive tasks. The pancreas, which produces both digestive enzymes and hormones like insulin and glucagon, shows circadian variations in its function. Insulin sensitivity, your body's responsiveness to insulin signal to take up glucose from the blood, follows a daily pattern, generally being highest in the morning and lowest at night. This pattern is coordinated with normal eating patterns. Disrupted sleep can disrupt insulin sensitivity, contributing to blood sugar problems. During sleep, particularly during the fasting period of nighttime sleep, the pancreas has a chance to recalibrate, to restore balance to its hormone production systems. The gut microbiome, that vast community of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and other microorganisms living primarily in your large intestine, is influenced by sleep in ways we're only beginning to understand. There are trillions of these microorganisms, representing thousands of different species, and they play crucial roles in your health. They help digest certain types of fiber that your own enzymes can't break down. They produce vitamins like vitamin K and some B vitamins. They train your immune system. They produce compounds that affect your brain and behavior. They prevent harmful bacteria from colonizing your gut. Research has shown that the composition and diversity of your gut microbiome can be influenced by sleep. Sleep deprivation has been associated with changes in the gut microbiome, generally toward a less healthy composition. Conversely, good sleep appears to support a more diverse and balanced microbiome. The mechanisms are complex and not fully understood, but they likely involve the effects of sleep on the immune system, on hormones like cortisol, and on the circadian rhythms of the gut itself. Yes, your digestive tract has its own circadian rhythms, partly driven by the timing of food intake, but also by internal biological clocks in the cells lining the gut. The enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, is a network of neurons embedded in the walls of your digestive tract. It contains more neurons than your spinal cord and can control many aspects of digestion independently of the brain. This nervous system also has circadian rhythms and is influenced by sleep. During sleep, the overall activity of the enteric nervous system changes. Digestive motility, the muscular contractions that move food through the digestive tract, slows down. This makes sense, you're not eating, so there's less need to move things along quickly. This slowing allows for more thorough absorption of nutrients and water. There's also evidence that sleep affects the production of gastric mucus, the protective layer that coats the inside of your stomach and intestines. This mucus layer is crucial for protecting the delicate epithelial cells from acid, enzymes, and mechanical damage. Adequate sleep supports the maintenance of this mucus layer, while sleep deprivation can compromise it, potentially contributing to damage to the digestive tract lining. The small intestine deserves more attention for its remarkable healing capacity. This coiled tube, about 20 feet long, is where most nutrient absorption occurs. Its inner surface is covered with tiny finger-like projections called villi, and each villus is covered with even tinier projections called microvilli, creating what's called the brush border. This elaborate structure massively increases the surface area available for absorption. If you could unfold and flatten the entire inner surface of your small intestine, it would cover about 200 square feet, roughly the size of a tennis court, all folded up inside your abdomen. These villi and microvilli are constantly being renewed. The cells at the tips of the villi are continuously being shed into the intestinal contents and eliminated, while new cells migrate up from the base of the villi to replace them. This migration and replacement happens throughout the day and night, but the overall process is influenced by circadian rhythms and by the hormonal environment created during sleep. Growth hormone, which peaks during sleep, supports the maintenance of the intestinal lining. Studies in animals have shown that growth hormone deficiency can lead to atrophy of the intestinal lining, while adequate growth hormone supports healthy intestinal structure. The tight junctions between intestinal cells are particularly important for maintaining the barrier function of the gut. These are protein complexes that essentially zip adjacent cells together, preventing substances from passing between cells and only allowing carefully controlled passage through the cells themselves. These tight junctions can be disrupted by various factors including stress, alcohol, certain medications, and inflammatory compounds produced by an unhealthy gut microbiome. Sleep supports the maintenance and repair of these tight junctions. Research has shown that sleep deprivation can increase intestinal permeability by disrupting these junctions, while adequate sleep helps maintain them. The large intestine, or colon, is where water is absorbed from the remaining digestive contents and where waste is prepared for elimination. The colon is also home to the highest concentration of bacteria in your gut microbiome. These bacteria ferment fiber that wasn't digested in the small intestine, producing short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which are actually fuel for the cells lining your colon. Butyrate is particularly important for maintaining colon health, supporting the barrier function, and even has anti-inflammatory and potentially anti-cancer properties. The relationship between sleep and the gut microbiome is complex and fascinating. Your microbiome isn't static throughout the day. The composition and activity of gut bacteria follow circadian rhythms, with populations of different bacteria rising and falling throughout the 24-hour cycle. These bacterial rhythms are influenced by when you eat and what you eat, but they're also influenced by your sleep-wake cycle and the hormones associated with it. Studies have found that disrupting circadian rhythms, such as through shift work or jet lag, can disrupt the gut microbiome, leading to dysbiosis, an unhealthy composition of gut bacteria. This dysbiosis has been linked to various health problems including obesity, diabetes, and inflammatory bowel disease. Conversely, maintaining regular sleep-wake cycles supports a healthy, diverse microbiome. The mechanisms are still being worked out, but they likely involve the effects of circadian rhythms on the immune system in the gut, on the secretion of antimicrobial peptides that help control bacterial populations, and on the motility of the digestive tract, which affects how long bacteria have to colonize different areas. Some bacteria in your gut can even produce compounds that affect your sleep. Certain species produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, which influence mood and sleep. Others produce compounds that can affect inflammation levels throughout your body, including in your brain, which can influence sleep quality. The relationship is bidirectional. Your sleep affects your microbiome, and your microbiome affects your sleep. This creates another feedback loop where good sleep supports a healthy microbiome, which supports good sleep. your liver's regenerative capacity is truly remarkable and worth exploring in more detail. In animal studies, if 70% of the liver is removed, the remaining 30% can regrow to restore the liver to its original size within a matter of weeks. This isn't really regeneration in the sense of growing new lobes. Rather, the remaining liver cells divide and the existing structure enlarges. But it's still extraordinary. No other solid organ in the human body has this capacity for regeneration. Even in the absence of injury or partial removal, your liver is constantly renewing itself at the cellular level. Liver cells, called hepatocytes, generally have a long lifespan, estimated at anywhere from 100 to 500 days. But they can divide when needed to replace cells that have died or been damaged. The liver also contains specialized cells called Kupffer cells, which are macrophages that filter the blood passing through the liver, removing bacteria and old red blood cells. These cells are also continuously being replaced. The liver's function as a detoxification organ means it's constantly dealing with potentially harmful substances. Everything you absorb from your digestive tract passes through the liver before entering the general circulation. This first-pass metabolism allows the liver to process nutrients, but it also means the liver is the first line of defense against toxins. The liver has elaborate enzyme systems, particularly the cytochrome P450 family of enzymes, that can transform toxic substances into less harmful forms that can be eliminated from the body. These enzyme systems require energy and produce reactive byproducts that can damage liver cells. During sleep, when you're not eating and the liver isn't dealing with a constant influx of nutrients and potential toxins from the digestive tract, it can focus more on housekeeping, on repairing oxidative damage, on recycling damaged cellular components through autophagy. The liver's circadian clock coordinates when different metabolic processes occur, ensuring that the liver is performing the right tasks at the right times. Fatty liver disease, where excess fat accumulates in liver cells, has become increasingly common and is closely linked to disrupted sleep and circadian rhythms. When you eat late at night, when you don't give your liver a proper fasting period overnight, when your sleep is disrupted and your circadian rhythms are off, the liver's metabolism can become dysregulated. It may start storing more fat, producing more glucose at inappropriate times, and failing to perform its detoxification and maintenance functions properly. Good sleep, with a consistent schedule that allows for a proper overnight fast, supports healthy liver function and helps prevent or reverse fatty liver. The pancreas, nestled in the curve of your duodenum, deserves more exploration for its dual role as both a digestive organ and an endocrine organ. The bulk of the pancreatic tissue is made up of acinar cells, which produce digestive enzymes. These enzymes are secreted into the small intestine to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. But scattered throughout the pancreas are clusters of cells called islets of Langerhans, and these are endocrine cells that produce hormones directly into the bloodstream. The most famous of these hormones are insulin and glucagon. Insulin, produced by beta cells in the islets, signals cells throughout your body to take up glucose from the blood, lowering blood sugar levels. Glucagon, produced by alpha cells, has the opposite effect, signaling the liver to release stored glucose, raising blood sugar levels. These two hormones work together to keep your blood sugar in a narrow, healthy range despite the fact that food intake is intermittent and energy expenditure varies throughout the day. Sleep profoundly affects this system. During the overnight fast, insulin levels drop and glucagon levels rise slightly, allowing stored glucose to be released to maintain blood sugar levels while you're not eating. But if sleep is disrupted, this process can become dysregulated. Sleep deprivation causes insulin resistance, meaning cells don't respond to insulin as effectively, requiring more insulin to achieve the same effect. Over time, the beta cells that produce insulin can become exhausted from overproduction, potentially leading to their dysfunction and the development of type 2 diabetes. The circadian rhythms of the pancreas are critical for healthy metabolism. Beta cells have their own circadian clocks that coordinate when insulin is produced and released. These clocks are synchronized by eating patterns and by the master circadian clock in the brain, which is in turn synchronized by light and sleep-wake cycles. When you eat at irregular times, when your sleep schedule is erratic, when you're exposed to light at night, these pancreatic circadian rhythms can become desynchronized, contributing to metabolic dysfunction. As you lie there, breathing slowly, feeling relaxed, your digestive system is working quietly. If you ate dinner a few hours ago, the food is making its way through your intestines, nutrients being absorbed, waste being prepared for elimination. The cells lining your digestive tract are renewing themselves, old cells dying and sloughing off, new cells moving up to replace them. Your liver is processing whatever is still in your system, detoxifying, metabolizing, preparing for tomorrow. Your gut microbiome is going about its business, the bacterial populations shifting in their circadian rhythms. Your pancreas is maintaining blood sugar levels through the careful balance of insulin and glucagon. The tight junctions between your intestinal cells are being maintained and repaired. The mucus layer protecting your stomach and intestines is being refreshed. And all of this is supported by your sleep, by the hormonal environment it creates, by the reduction in stress, by the time it provides for these maintenance processes to occur, by the circadian rhythms that coordinate when everything happens. Cardiovascular restoration and blood renewal. Your heart beats about 100,000 times each day, pumping around 2,000 gallons of blood through roughly 60,000 miles of blood vessels. This system never stops completely, but it does change its behavior during sleep, and sleep provides crucial time for maintenance and restoration of this hard-working system. During sleep, your heart rate drops. If your resting heart rate while awake is around 70 beats per minute, during deep sleep it might drop to 50 or even lower. This reduction means your heart is working less hard, pumping against less resistance, getting a chance to rest. While it's never truly resting, this reduction in workload is significant. Over a full night's sleep, it might save your heart tens of thousands of beats, giving the cardiac muscle cells time to repair any damage and maintain themselves. The cardiac muscle cells, or cardiomyocytes, are remarkable in their dedication. Unlike skeletal muscle cells, which can regenerate relatively easily from satellite cells, cardiac muscle cells have very limited regenerative capacity in adults. The cells you have in your heart are largely the ones you'll have for life. This makes their ongoing maintenance absolutely crucial. These cells must repair damage to their DNA, to their proteins, to their mitochondria. They must maintain their contractile apparatus, the molecular machinery that allows them to contract and pump blood. They must balance calcium levels, which are essential for contraction but can be toxic if dysregulated. During sleep, when the heart rate slows and the workload decreases, cardiac muscle cells have more opportunity to perform this essential maintenance. The energy that would be spent on extra contractions can instead be directed toward repair processes. Proteins that became damaged during the day's work can be identified and either repaired or broken down and replaced. Mitochondria, the power plants of the cell, can undergo their own quality control, eliminating damaged mitochondria and duplicating healthy ones to maintain the cell's energy production capacity. Blood pressure also drops during sleep, typically by 10 to 20%. This nighttime dipping is a normal, healthy pattern. It gives your blood vessels a break from the pressure they're under during the day. The cells lining your blood vessels, the endothelial cells, face constant stress from blood flow and pressure. During the nighttime dip in blood pressure, these cells can focus more on repair and maintenance. They can produce nitric oxide, a molecule that helps blood vessels relax and expand. They can repair damage to the vessel walls. They can maintain the smooth, non-sticky surface that prevents blood from clotting inappropriately. The endothelium is just one cell layer thick, yet it performs so many crucial functions. It regulates the passage of substances from blood into tissues. It produces factors that control blood clotting. It regulates inflammation. It influences whether blood vessels constrict or dilate. When the endothelium is healthy, it helps prevent atherosclerosis, the buildup of plaque in artery walls that can lead to heart attacks and strokes. When it's damaged or dysfunctional, it contributes to cardiovascular disease. Endothelial cells can be damaged by many factors: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, diabetes, chronic inflammation, oxidative stress. The constant mechanical stress of blood flow itself can cause damage. But these cells have repair mechanisms. They can activate pathways that produce antioxidant enzymes to neutralize harmful free radicals. They can produce growth factors that support their own repair and survival. They can even proliferate to replace cells that have died, though this capacity decreases with age. All of these repair processes work better when blood pressure is lower, when the mechanical stress is reduced. The nighttime dip in blood pressure during sleep provides exactly this opportunity. Studies have shown that people who don't exhibit this normal nighttime dip, called non-dippers, are at significantly higher risk for cardiovascular problems including heart attack, stroke, and heart failure. The absence of the dip means the endothelium and the heart never get a full break from the stress of elevated blood pressure. Non-dipping can be caused by several factors. Sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep, is a major cause. Each time breathing stops, oxygen levels drop and the body responds with a surge of stress hormones and a spike in blood pressure. Chronic stress and anxiety can also prevent the normal nighttime blood pressure dip. Some medical conditions affect this pattern as well. But addressing the underlying cause, whether through treating sleep apnea, managing stress, or improving sleep quality, can often restore the normal dipping pattern and reduce cardiovascular risk. The sympathetic nervous system, which is part of your fight or flight response and increases heart rate and blood pressure, is less active during most stages of sleep. The parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes rest and recovery and slows the heart rate, becomes more dominant. This shift is mediated partly by the vagus nerve, a major nerve that connects the brain to many organs including the heart. Increased vagal tone during sleep promotes a slower heart rate and supports other restorative processes. People with higher vagal tone generally have better cardiovascular health and better overall health. Good sleep supports healthy vagal tone. Your heart, like other organs, has its own circadian rhythms. The expression of various genes in heart cells follows daily patterns. Some genes that protect against oxidative stress are more active at certain times of day. Genes involved in metabolism, in calcium handling, in the response to stress all follow circadian patterns. These rhythms ensure that the heart is optimized for the demands it faces at different times of day. Disrupting these rhythms through irregular sleep schedules, night shift work, or jet lag can impair heart function and increase cardiovascular risk. Your blood itself is constantly being renewed. Red blood cells, which carry oxygen from your lungs to your tissues and carbon dioxide from your tissues to your lungs, have a lifespan of about 120 days. Every day, your bone marrow produces about 200 billion new red blood cells to replace ones that are aging and dying. That's about 2 million every second, a staggering rate of production. This production happens around the clock, but the environment in which it occurs is influenced by sleep. The bone marrow environment is complex, containing not just developing blood cells, but also many supporting cells, blood vessels, nerves, and an extracellular matrix that provides structure. This environment, called the hematopoietic niche, can be thought of as the soil in which blood cell seeds grow. The quality of this soil affects the quality of the cells produced. Recent research has shown that sleep quality influences the hematopoietic niche. Good sleep maintains a healthy niche that produces healthy blood cells. Poor sleep or sleep deprivation can alter the niche in ways that promote inflammation, potentially contributing to cardiovascular disease and other health problems. The hormone erythropoietin, which stimulates red blood cell production, follows a circadian rhythm, with levels varying throughout the day and night. Sleep affects this rhythm. Adequate sleep supports normal red blood cell production, ensuring that you have enough of these crucial oxygen carriers to meet your body's needs. Sleep deprivation can affect this production. While it's unlikely that short-term sleep loss would cause anemia in a healthy person, chronic sleep deprivation could potentially affect red blood cell counts and quality. The shape of red blood cells is important for their function. They're biconcave discs, like donuts without holes, and this shape maximizes surface area for gas exchange while allowing them to be flexible enough to squeeze through tiny capillaries. Unhealthy red blood cells can be misshapen, less flexible, less capable of carrying oxygen efficiently. The quality control mechanisms in the bone marrow that ensure red blood cells develop properly are influenced by the overall health of the bone marrow environment, which is in turn influenced by sleep. White blood cells, as we discussed in the immune system section, are also produced continuously in the bone marrow, and their production and distribution are significantly affected by sleep. But beyond the immune function, these cells are part of the cardiovascular system, traveling through the blood to reach wherever they're needed. Different types of white blood cells patrol the bloodstream, adhering to blood vessel walls, rolling along the endothelium, searching for signs of infection or damage. This surveillance is continuous, a constant patrol that helps protect you from threats. Platelets, the tiny cell fragments that help your blood clot when you're injured, are also produced in the bone marrow and have a lifespan of about 8 to 10 days. Your bone marrow produces about 100 billion platelets per day to maintain the population. These are formed when cells in the bone marrow called megakaryocytes extend long arms into blood vessels and pinch off fragments, each fragment becoming a platelet. This process, like the production of red and white blood cells, is continuous but influenced by circadian rhythms and sleep. Platelets are crucial for hemostasis, the stopping of bleeding. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets rush to the site, stick to the damaged area, activate, and clump together to form a plug. They also release chemicals that trigger the coagulation cascade, a series of reactions that results in the formation of fibrin, a protein that forms threads that weave through the platelet plug, creating a stable clot. This is essential for survival. Without it, we would bleed to death from even minor injuries. But platelets can also contribute to disease. When atherosclerotic plaques in arteries rupture, platelets respond as if to an injury, forming clots that can block blood flow, causing heart attacks or strokes. Interestingly, platelets show circadian variations in their function. They're more reactive, more prone to clot formation in the early morning hours. This is part of why heart attacks and strokes are more common in the morning. The nighttime production and conditioning of platelets, influenced by sleep, may affect their morning reactivity. The inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, is a single layer of cells, but it's incredibly important. If you could remove all the endothelial cells from your body and lay them out, they would cover about 7,000 square feet. This vast interface between your blood and the rest of your body performs so many functions. A healthy endothelium helps regulate blood flow by producing substances that cause blood vessels to dilate when more blood flow is needed and constrict when less is needed. It prevents blood from clotting inappropriately by producing anticoagulant factors and by maintaining a smooth, non-sticky surface. It resists the development of atherosclerosis by preventing cholesterol from accumulating in the vessel wall and by regulating inflammation. This endothelium can be damaged by high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, diabetes, chronic inflammation, all the usual suspects in cardiovascular disease. But it has remarkable capacity for repair when given the right conditions. Endothelial cells can produce growth factors that support their own repair and the growth of new blood vessels when needed. They produce molecules that help regulate inflammation, calling immune cells when needed but also resolving inflammation when the threat has passed. They produce antioxidant enzymes that protect against oxidative damage. All of these protective and reparative processes work better during sleep. The reduction in blood pressure and heart rate during sleep creates a less stressful environment for the endothelium. The shift in the balance of the autonomic nervous system toward parasympathetic dominance promotes repair. The hormonal environment of sleep, with elevated growth hormone and lower cortisol, supports endothelial health. Studies have shown that sleep deprivation impairs endothelial function, while adequate sleep helps maintain it. The relationship between sleep and atherosclerosis, the buildup of plaque in arteries, is complex and important. Atherosclerosis develops over decades, beginning with damage to the endothelium, followed by the accumulation of cholesterol and other lipids in the artery wall, the migration of immune cells into the area, and the formation of a plaque. This plaque can narrow the artery, reducing blood flow, or it can rupture, triggering clot formation and suddenly blocking the artery. Sleep affects multiple steps in this process. Sleep deprivation is associated with elevated inflammatory markers in the blood, and inflammation is a key driver of atherosclerosis. Sleep deprivation affects cholesterol metabolism, often raising LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, and lowering HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol. Sleep affects blood pressure, and high blood pressure damages the endothelium and accelerates atherosclerosis. Sleep affects blood sugar regulation, and poorly controlled blood sugar, as in diabetes, dramatically accelerates atherosclerosis. Through all of these pathways, chronic sleep deprivation can contribute to the development of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Heart rhythm disturbances called arrhythmias are also influenced by sleep. The heart's electrical system, which coordinates the contraction of different parts of the heart in the proper sequence, is affected by the autonomic nervous system. During sleep, particularly during non-REM sleep, the parasympathetic nervous system dominates, slowing the heart rate and promoting regular rhythm. During REM sleep, there can be bursts of sympathetic activity, causing temporary increases in heart rate and blood pressure. These are normal variations. Some arrhythmias are more common during sleep. Certain types of slow heart rhythms, bradyarrhythmias, occur more during sleep due to high parasympathetic tone. Certain fast heart rhythms, particularly atrial fibrillation, can be triggered during REM sleep by the bursts of sympathetic activity. Sleep apnea, which causes repeated episodes of low oxygen during sleep, is a major trigger for arrhythmias, particularly atrial fibrillation, because the oxygen deprivation and subsequent stress response disrupt the heart's electrical system. As you rest now, your cardiovascular system is experiencing this restorative period. Your heart is beating more slowly, working a bit less hard. Your blood pressure has dropped, giving your blood vessels a break from constant stress. The cells lining those vessels are repairing damage, producing protective factors, maintaining their crucial functions. Your blood is being renewed, new cells produced in your bone marrow to replace ones that are aging. The smooth muscle cells in your artery walls are maintaining the structural integrity of the vessels. Your heart's electrical system is operating under the calming influence of your parasympathetic nervous system, maintaining a slow, steady rhythm. And all of this contributes to the long-term health of this crucial system that delivers oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body and removes waste products. This system that keeps you alive with every beat is taking this time to restore itself, to repair itself, to prepare for tomorrow. Hormonal orchestration of healing. Hormones are chemical messengers that travel through your bloodstream, carrying signals from one part of your body to another. They coordinate an enormous range of processes, from growth and development to metabolism to stress response to sleep itself. And the production and regulation of many hormones follow daily rhythms that are intimately connected to sleep. Growth hormone is perhaps the most well-known sleep-related hormone. As we've mentioned, it's released primarily during deep sleep, particularly during the first few hours of the night. In adults, growth hormone doesn't make you grow taller, but it does perform crucial functions. It stimulates protein synthesis throughout your body, supporting the repair and building of muscle tissue, bone tissue, and other structures. It promotes the breakdown of fat for energy. It supports the function of your immune system. It even has effects on your brain, influencing mood and cognitive function. The release of growth hormone during sleep follows a predictable pattern. As you fall asleep and enter deep sleep, typically within the first hour or two, there's a surge of growth hormone from the pituitary gland in your brain. This surge can account for 50% or more of the total growth hormone released in a day. The amount released correlates with the amount of deep sleep you get. More deep sleep means more growth hormone. Less deep sleep means less growth hormone. This is one reason why sleep is so crucial for anyone trying to build muscle, recover from injury, or maintain their physical condition. The growth hormone released during sleep drives much of the repair and rebuilding that happens overnight. Without adequate deep sleep, you're missing out on this critical hormone surge, and your body's ability to repair and maintain itself is compromised. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, follows an inverse pattern to growth hormone. Cortisol levels are typically lowest in the late evening and first part of the night, rising gradually in the early morning hours and spiking shortly before you wake up. This morning cortisol surge helps prepare your body for wakefulness, increasing blood sugar, boosting alertness, preparing you to face the day's challenges. But when sleep is disrupted or inadequate, the cortisol pattern can become dysregulated. Cortisol levels may remain elevated when they should be dropping, or the morning surge might be excessive. Chronically elevated cortisol has many negative effects. It breaks down muscle tissue. It can suppress the immune system. It interferes with sleep quality, creating a vicious cycle. It promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdomen, can impair memory and learning. Healthy sleep helps maintain the normal cortisol rhythm, keeping levels in the range that supports health rather than undermining it. Melatonin is another crucial hormone, often called the sleep hormone. It's produced by the pineal gland in your brain in response to darkness. As evening approaches and light levels drop, melatonin production increases, reaching peak levels in the middle of the night. Melatonin doesn't put you to sleep directly, but it signals to your body that it's nighttime, helping to coordinate circadian rhythms and promoting sleepiness. Beyond its role in sleep regulation, melatonin has other important functions. It's a powerful antioxidant, helping to neutralize free radicals that can damage cells. It supports immune function. It may even have anti-cancer properties. The melatonin produced during the night contributes to your body's antioxidant defenses, helping to repair oxidative damage that occurred during the day. Exposure to light at night, particularly blue light from screens, can suppress melatonin production. This is one reason why using phones, tablets, or computers close to bedtime can interfere with sleep. The light tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, suppressing melatonin, delaying the onset of sleep, and potentially reducing sleep quality. Insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar, also has a circadian rhythm. Insulin sensitivity, how responsive your cells are to insulin signal to take up glucose from the blood, is typically higher during the day when you're eating and lower at night. This makes sense from an evolutionary perspective. You'd be eating during the day and fasting at night, so your body would need to be more responsive to insulin when food is being consumed. Sleep affects insulin sensitivity profoundly. Even a single night of sleep deprivation can significantly reduce insulin sensitivity, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar. Chronic sleep deprivation is a risk factor for developing type 2 diabetes. During sleep, particularly during deep sleep, insulin sensitivity can improve, helping to maintain metabolic health. The nighttime fasting period also allows insulin levels to drop, giving your cells a break from constant insulin signaling. Leptin and ghrelin are hormones that regulate hunger and satiety. Leptin, produced by fat cells, signals that you've had enough to eat, promoting feelings of fullness. Ghrelin, produced primarily in the stomach, signals hunger, promoting appetite. Sleep deprivation disrupts the balance of these hormones, decreasing leptin and increasing ghrelin. The result is that you feel hungrier and less satisfied after eating, which can lead to overeating and weight gain. With adequate sleep, these hormones maintain a healthier balance, helping you regulate your food intake appropriately. Testosterone, present in both men and women though at different levels, is another hormone influenced by sleep. Most testosterone production in men occurs during sleep, with levels rising throughout the night and peaking in the early morning. Sleep deprivation can significantly reduce testosterone production. Over time, chronic poor sleep can lead to lower overall testosterone levels, which can affect muscle mass, bone density, sex drive, energy levels, and mood. Adequate sleep supports healthy testosterone production. Thyroid hormones, which regulate metabolism, also follow circadian patterns and are influenced by sleep. The thyroid gland produces hormones that affect nearly every cell in your body, influencing how quickly you burn calories, how fast your heart beats, how your body temperature is regulated. Disrupted sleep can affect thyroid function, potentially contributing to thyroid disorders. Healthy sleep supports normal thyroid hormone production and regulation. The relationship between all these hormones and sleep is bidirectional. Sleep affects hormone production, but hormones also affect sleep. Growth hormone-releasing hormone, produced in the hypothalamus, not only triggers growth hormone release but also promotes slow-wave sleep. Melatonin promotes sleep onset. Cortisol in the morning promotes wakefulness. It's an elegant system of mutual influence, hormones and sleep working together to maintain the daily rhythms that support health. As you lie there now, feeling perhaps very relaxed, very peaceful, these hormonal processes are unfolding. If you're in the first part of the night, growth hormone is being released or will be soon, supporting repair throughout your body. Cortisol is at its daily low point, allowing the body to focus on rest and restoration rather than stress response. Melatonin levels are high, supporting deep, restorative sleep. Your insulin sensitivity is recovering from the day's meals, preparing your body to handle tomorrow's food intake efficiently. This hormonal orchestra plays on throughout the night, each hormone contributing its part to the symphony of healing and restoration. The interconnected web systems working together. Throughout this journey, we've explored different systems, different aspects of your body's incredible healing capacity. But the truth is, these systems don't work in isolation. They're deeply interconnected, constantly communicating, constantly influencing one another. The healing that happens during sleep is not a collection of separate processes, but a coordinated symphony where every instrument plays its part. Consider how the immune system and the nervous system interact. Your immune cells have receptors for neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of the nervous system. Conversely, immune cells produce cytokines that can affect brain function. During sleep, when the nervous system enters states of deep rest and the immune system shifts its activities, there's a complex dance of communication between the two. The nervous system influences immune cell behavior through hormones and neurotransmitters. The immune system influences the nervous system through inflammatory signals. Together, they coordinate the body's response to threats and its healing from damage. The gut-brain axis is another example of deep interconnection. Your digestive system and your brain are in constant communication through multiple pathways. Through the vagus nerve, which directly connects the gut and the brain. Through hormones produced in the gut that affect brain function. Through the gut microbiome, which produces compounds that can influence mood and behavior. During sleep, this communication continues. The state of your gut influences the quality of your sleep. The quality of your sleep influences the health of your gut. It's a circular relationship, each supporting or potentially undermining the other. The musculoskeletal system and the cardiovascular system work together in ways that are influenced by sleep. Your muscles need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered by blood. They need waste products removed through the bloodstream. The cardiovascular system relies partly on muscle contraction to help pump blood, particularly in the veins of your legs where muscle contractions squeeze the veins and push blood upward against gravity. During sleep, when muscles are relaxed, blood flow patterns change, but the cardiovascular system adapts, ensuring that all tissues continue to receive what they need. The endocrine system, the collection of glands that produce hormones, coordinates much of what happens during sleep. The hypothalamus in your brain acts as a master regulator, integrating signals from throughout your body and coordinating the release of hormones from the pituitary gland, which then influences other glands, the thyroid, the adrenals, the gonads. This hormonal cascade affects every system in your body. Growth hormone affects muscle, bone, immune function, metabolism. Cortisol affects metabolism, immune function, inflammation. Thyroid hormones affect energy production in every cell. All of these hormonal influences are coordinated with sleep, creating the optimal internal environment for healing and restoration. Circadian rhythms tie everything together. Nearly every cell in your body has its own internal clock, a set of genes that turn on and off in roughly 24-hour cycles. These cellular clocks are coordinated by a master clock in the brain, located in a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This master clock is synchronized primarily by light, which is why regular exposure to daylight and darkness at appropriate times helps maintain healthy circadian rhythms. But every system we've discussed has its own circadian patterns. The immune system has circadian rhythms in when different immune cells are most active. The digestive system has rhythms in acid production, enzyme release, motility. The cardiovascular system has rhythms in heart rate and blood pressure. The endocrine system has rhythms in hormone production. And sleep is the time when all of these rhythms are coordinated, when the body operates as a unified whole rather than a collection of separate parts. When sleep is disrupted, when it's insufficient or of poor quality, the interconnections between systems can become sources of problems rather than sources of strength. Poor sleep affects the immune system, which can lead to increased inflammation, which affects the cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of heart disease. Poor sleep disrupts hormone balance, affecting appetite regulation, which can lead to overeating and weight gain, which affects metabolic health, which increases the risk of diabetes. Poor sleep impairs the brain's ability to clear waste, which over time might contribute to neurodegenerative disease. The interconnections mean that sleep deprivation doesn't just affect one system, it affects all of them, and the effects can compound. But the beautiful flip side is that when sleep is good, when it's adequate and of high quality, the interconnections support health across all systems. Good sleep supports immune function, which reduces inflammation, which protects the cardiovascular system. Good sleep balances hormones, which supports healthy appetite and metabolism, which maintains a healthy weight, which reduces the risk of numerous chronic diseases. Good sleep enhances the brain's waste clearance, which may help protect against cognitive decline. The healing that happens during sleep cascades through all the systems of your body, each improvement supporting improvements elsewhere. There's a wisdom to your body that goes beyond any individual system or process. It's the wisdom of millions of years of evolution, of countless generations of ancestors who survived and reproduced, passing down the genetic instructions for building and maintaining a human body. That wisdom is expressed in the automatic processes that happen during sleep. You don't have to tell your cells to divide, to repair their DNA, to produce proteins. You don't have to direct your immune system to consolidate memories of pathogens or to produce cytokines. You don't have to instruct your brain to clear waste or consolidate memories. It all happens on its own, guided by ancient biological programs that know exactly what to do. This automatic nature of healing is perhaps one of the most relaxing things to contemplate. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to think about it. You simply have to provide the conditions that allow it to happen, and the most important condition is sleep. When you sleep, you step out of the way and let your body do what it does best. Heal, restore, prepare for tomorrow. As you lie there now, feeling the weight of your body, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breathing, feeling perhaps very relaxed and very heavy, you might appreciate that all of these processes we've explored are happening right now. Your cells are communicating and repairing themselves. Your immune system is working quietly to protect you and prepare for future threats. Your skin is renewing itself. Your brain is clearing waste and consolidating memories. Your bones are being maintained. Your muscles are rebuilding. Your digestive system is performing maintenance. Your cardiovascular system is experiencing restoration. Your hormones are orchestrating it all. And every system is supporting every other system in this beautiful, interconnected dance of healing. You are not separate from this process. You are this process. The healing that happens during sleep is not something being done to you by some external force. It is you, at the deepest level, taking care of yourself. Every cell in your body is working on behalf of the whole, and the whole is you. There's something profound in that realization. You are a community of trillions of cells, all cooperating, all working together to keep you alive and healthy. And right now, as you rest, as you drift deeper into relaxation or sleep, that community is engaged in its most important work: renewal, repair, healing. You can trust this process. You can let go and allow it to happen. Your body knows what to do. It has been doing this every night of your entire life, working tirelessly to maintain you, to heal you, to prepare you for each new day. And it will keep doing this all through this night as you sleep deeply and peacefully, allowing your body to restore itself completely. As we near the end of our journey together, let yourself sink even deeper into relaxation. Let your breathing slow and deepen naturally. Let your muscles release any remaining tension. Feel yourself becoming heavier and heavier, more and more relaxed. The knowledge of how your body heals itself during sleep can itself be healing, can help you relax more completely, knowing that you're not wasting time by sleeping, that you're engaged in the most productive possible activity, allowing your body to restore itself. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not laziness. It's essential medicine, the foundation of health, the time when your body performs the maintenance and repair that keeps you functioning. Every system in your body needs sleep to work properly. Every cell needs the conditions that sleep provides. And you need sleep not just to avoid feeling tired, but to be truly healthy, to allow your body to be at its best. So give yourself permission to sleep. Give yourself permission to spend these hours in rest, knowing that it's the most valuable thing you can do for your health. Your body is ready to heal you. It's ready to restore you. It's ready to prepare you for tomorrow. All it needs is for you to sleep. And as you drift now, feeling so peaceful, so relaxed, so heavy and comfortable, know that your body is beginning this nightly work of healing. Know that by morning you will be restored. Your cells will have repaired themselves. Your immune system will be stronger. Your brain will be clearer. Your muscles will be rebuilt. Every system in your body will have been maintained and renewed. You will wake feeling refreshed, restored, ready for whatever the day brings. But for now, there's nothing to do but rest. Nothing to think about but how good it feels to relax completely. Nothing to focus on but the gentle rhythm of your breathing and the pleasant heaviness of your body. Let yourself drift. Let yourself sleep. And let your body do its beautiful, miraculous work of healing you through the night. If you've enjoyed learning about how your body heals itself during sleep, if this journey through the miraculous processes of nighttime restoration has been relaxing and enlightening, consider subscribing to Deep Science Sleep. Give us a like if this content has helped you understand and appreciate your body's incredible healing capacity. And remember, every night is an opportunity for healing. Every sleep is a chance for your body to restore itself completely. Sleep well and wake restored.